just bought a car from USAA, so I'm looking for insurance.
I was like the person sitting next to USAA that missed it by one. Thanks.
Actually, Chris Reyes, Dell, and I am a Spanky graduate. I'm also, in my area of Dell, we are a B2B play, definitely. And I had two questions, hopefully. One was, you talked about, and I think this is true of any ancillary product like insurance, where you talked about going to car collector forum to see what they were talking about in your insurance. First of all is, how did you find who your real customer is? Like, for a B2B, it sounded like, your brokers really wanted the information, but your brokers were really looking at car collectors for that particular product. So how do you know what to look at? Because if you just put insurance, you're going to get a lot of ads.
Right. Yes. So in the B2B environment, it's actually pretty straightforward for us because we're, 99% of our book of business. So we have about $2.2 billion in gross written premium annually, which I know is nothing for USAA. But our customers, our net customers are the policyholders, but it's all done through our partners with our producers and agents. So that's easy, right? We don't do value-based segmentation, but we certainly know who our important and our big customers are from the agency side. On the personal line side, that one example I gave, there isn't that agent there. So it's now direct to consumer. So these are people that are direct policyholders of ours. So we have this collector vehicle product, insurance, and they're coming directly to us through our portal. They're getting the policy, and then we're providing all the back-end service, the claims adjudication, everything. For that, we sort of know what our overall customer base is, but what I said before is what we don't know, it's a good question, is, we just went out and said car collector message boards, right? We went out and tried to look at all the different forums. We started to, realize that it's much bigger than a bread box. I mean, there's thousands of them. So we haven't cracked the code on that, to be honest with you. So, but we do know that we haven't cracked the code. We know that we need to, but we're just, we're sort of waiting to do sort of a full dive into that field because it's, there's so much out there. And then we're going to start to ask that question. I mean, who are the customers? What do we do with the data once we get it? So on the B2B side, we're clear. On the B2C side, we're still kind of in that gray zone, if you will.
Suzanne. Love Starwood.
Thank you. I'm Suzanne Clark with Starwood Vacation Ownership. And Seth, I just have to tell you, this is more of a comment, that you just told my story over the last 2.5 years.
Oh, cool.
We have been going through the exact same journey that you just described. And what's really awesome is that we too have the same process in place that you do, that as we receive feedback from our customer, if the Net Promoter Score is 6 or lower, we have an action plan in place where it's fed daily to our Voice of the Customer team, who has to then respond within 24 hours. I mean, I'm loving this. I'm like, oh, we're doing it right.
We're doing it right. Yeah, right.
And we got the exact same response from our customers that you did is, oh, I didn't think you'd call me back.
Yeah.
You'd do anything about it.
Yeah.
So the recovery and the response from your customer, that you're really listening to them, and that what they're telling us is important, makes a huge difference in their confidence and the loyalty that they have to our brands and to us as a company and service providers. So thank you for that. I just really, it's
a nice compliment.
It's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing that. Any last question here for, one more. Okay, then we got a draw. I will do a draw. It's not an insurance policy.
Yeah, well, it's insurance.
Snake from Triad Services. Just a small question. You were saying that it's very important for you to have the voice of the customer during the whole life cycle of that customer. So I don't know if you can just give more details, because for me, in insurance, even B2C or B2B, the moment of truth is when claims come, and this is where it happens, and it passes or it breaks.
Great, so great question. So the question is really with regards to the customer life cycle. So claims was actually well, there's two missing links for us. One was claims, one was underwriting. So from a transactional perspective, we felt like we had that sort of understood fairly well. From a marketing perspective, we were asking the right questions, so we were getting very good data on that, but we were missing the underwriting piece, which is very important for us, and we were missing the claims piece, which obviously is very important to our policyholders, and quite frankly to the agents, because the agents are saying, Philadelphia Insurance pays their claims timely, accurately, so they're a good, reputable company. So claims is very important. So on the underwriting piece, we've started to ask more questions in some of the surveys that we do. We're also doing outbound surveys as well to people that actually are submitting business in that we've now quoted. So if we've quoted on a particular policy, it goes into a bucket, and we're basically randomly selecting ones, and then we're going out and asking questions, and we're pulling that data in. The claims side, we didn't have involved in the program. They actually send out postcards. They used to send out postcards. And they thought that that was a more efficient way to do it. So postcards were being sent out basically when we adjudicated a claim, or made the decision, whether we were paying or not. We would send out a postcard about your overall experience. Postcards came in, we had 2 full-time people manually entering everything into a spreadsheet, and they were tracking all this. So let's just say that there was a very candid conversation around the process that we had in pulling everything in together, and then this other group that was doing something separately. So I'll fast forward to where we are today, which is now that's integrated in. The data is now in there, so we now have underwriting, marketing, claims is now in there, but 6 months ago it wasn't, and service. So I feel pretty confident that we have the most important components of the customer life cycle from an insurance perspective.
Well, thank you. And Seth, you were our first B2B speaker of this series forum,
Cool.
round 4, and we got that request from the feedback people filling out. So thank you for being a trial by fire. So good job, Seth Hall. Thank you very much.
Thank you.